So, we've got a hybrid class tonight. I have two beautiful assistants. And tonight's class is all going to be, you can be pulling funny faces behind me and I won't know.
You will in the morning.
Yeah, you will. So tonight's class is all about mobility. Just especially seeing as we had last week off, or some of us had last week off. Some of you were very, very good students and did some of my YouTube videos instead. But we're just going to work on mobility and quite a stretchy class for you this evening. So we're going to start with fascia circles, and I think all of you know mostly about fascia circles. You can hold on to something if you have something nearby, if you're feeling like you need a bit of extra balance, or hold on to a chair back. But we'll just start with the left leg and start by circling through the ankle a few times in one direction and a few times in the other direction. You two are going to get confused because I mirror everything.
We do what you do, yeah.
Okay, and then moving into the knee, a few circles into the knee, and then take that in the other direction, and then a few into the hip, and then take those in the other direction too. Good. Then moving to the other leg, so starting with the ankle, a few circles, just warming up through all the different joints of the body, and then take those circles in the other direction. And then into the knee. And again, reverse that direction. And then into the hip. And then a few in the other direction. Then putting both feet down on the mat, feet nice and wide, circle through the hips, really bringing the hips forward and taking them right back. And then take those circles in the other direction. And then bring the hips to stillness, circle through the ribs. So really trying to take the ribs forwards, to the side, back and to the side. Really getting that movement into the middle of the spine. And then take those in the other direction. Good. And then circling the shoulders back, really squidging them up towards the ears and dragging the shoulder blades down the back. And then the other direction, so squeeze them back and then roll the shoulders forwards. And then moving into the wrists, big circles into the wrists. And then take those circles in the other direction. Then into the elbows. And the other way. And then into the shoulders. Couple more, and then take those circles in the other direction. It's like synchro circles, it's wonderful. And then bringing the arms down to the side, take the ear towards the shoulder. Just hang out there for a couple of breaths, really stretching all the muscles down the right side of the neck. Then take the chin towards the shoulder and roll the head all the way around the front, scraping that chin around the collarbones. And then come to the other side. And then just allow all the muscles down the left side of the neck to have a stretch. A couple of breaths here. And then take the chin back towards the shoulder and scrape it all the way around the front and back to the start. Bringing the head back up so the chin's parallel to the floor. Twist the head looking round over the left shoulder. Then inhale back to center. Exhale over the right shoulder. Inhale center. Exhale left. Inhale center. Exhale right. Inhale center. Then interlace the fingers and cup the palms around the back of the skull. Drop the chin down towards the chest and press your skull up into your hands whilst you apply some pressure with your hands onto your head, stretching out down the back of the neck. A couple of breaths here. Excellent. Then let that stretch go. So bringing the feet a little closer, so the feet are kind of hip width distance. We'll do some breathing, incorporating the arms as well. So starting by inhaling the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Pausing at the top, and then exhale, really stretch the arms back as far as your shoulders will allow, and then back down towards your sides. So inhaling all the way up, pausing at the top, then exhale, really reach those shoulders back to the maximum that your range of motion will allow, and then bring the hands down to your sides. So inhaling the arms up, then as you exhale, take the arms as far back as you can reach, and then bring them to your sides. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale, stretch those arms back. Inhale up. And then exhale, stretch those arms back. Okay, the next one's really about opening the chest. So as we inhale, we open the arms out towards the side, really opening and expanding through the chest. As we exhale, round through the shoulders and press the hands away. So inhaling, opening the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades behind you. Exhaling, rolling through the top of the back, pushing the hands away. Inhaling to open. And then exhaling to close, rolling through the top of the spine. Inhale to open. And then exhale to close. 2 more. Inhale to open. Exhale, roll through the top of the spine, stretch the hands away. Inhale to open. And then exhale, press those hands away. Excellent stuff. Okay, this time we'll come down onto our hands and our knees. So knees directly beneath your hips. Take the hands slightly forward of your shoulders so that you have got a bit of space in your wrists. And then to start with today, we'll circle around the wrists. So just tiny, tiny circles around the wrists. And then taking those circles in the other direction, just around the wrists. Excellent. Then take the fingertips out towards the sides of your mat. So your fingers are out to the sides. And then take a stretch from side to side through the wrists. Then keep turning those fingers around so that the fingertips then face towards your knees. So your fingertips are pointing down. And then move forwards and back, stretching out the wrists in all possible directions. Louise, I apologise in advance for what's coming next. The next one is Louise's favourite. Oh no.
So Emma's favourite.
Also Emma's favourite, I've just learnt. So the next one, we go on to the backs of our wrists. So our fingertips are still facing our knees and we're on the backs of our wrists. And we just wiggle forwards and backwards, stretching out through the wrists and along the forearms. And smile. No way. Don't like that one. Excellent. Then bringing the hands back to normal, stretch the fingers apart from one another, really ground down through your hands and your knees, and we'll do a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhaling as the belly comes down, press the mat away, sit bones go up towards the ceiling and look up. Then exhale as you curl the tailbone under, pull the tummy in, round through the back and let the head hang. Inhale as you come down, sit bones going up towards the sky, belly down, press the mat away. And then exhale, curl the tailbone under, curve through the spine, hang the head. So inhale as the belly comes down, really pressing the mat away, and then exhale, really pull the tummy in and arch through the back. One more each direction. Inhale as you come down, and then exhale as you go up. Then coming back to a neutral spine, take a nice big inhale at centre, and then exhale, look around towards one hip, so you're making a C shape with your spine to the side. Inhale back to centre, exhale, C shape to the other side. Inhale back through centre, exhale one way. Inhale through centre, exhale the other way. One more each side. Inhale centre, exhale, look to one hip. Inhale through centre, exhale, look to the other hip. Come back to centre, take the hips down towards your heels and stretch the hands forward, coming into child's pose. You can have your knees together or your knees apart for a wide leg child's pose, whichever suits your hips better. But think about stretching the fingertips forward and stretching the sit bones back towards your heels. So really elongating the spine, keeping the elbows up off the floor. So it's an active child's pose. Really stretching that spine from end to end. Reaching those fingertips forward and encouraging those sit bones down towards your heels. Couple of deep breaths here. Good. Then lifting the head, walk the fingers over towards the left. And then stretch the right armpit down towards the mat. We're really feeling the stretch down the right side of the body. And then walking the fingertips back to centre. Keep them walking over to the right and stretch out down the left side of the body, stretching the left armpit towards the mat. Couple of breaths here. Then lifting the head, walk the hands back to the centre. And then lifting the hips up, come back into your tabletop. Making sure the knees are below the hips. Come down onto your elbows and stretch your chest towards the floor. If it's in your practice and you can go deeper, reach the hands forward and come onto the forehead and your nose or maybe your chin. But really concentrate on melting the chest towards the mat. And have a couple of breaths here. And coming back up onto your elbows, walk the hands back in. And a couple of circles coming forward of your wrists and going back towards your heels. Starting the circles quite small, moving your spine wherever it feels it needs to move, and gradually making those circles bigger and bigger until you come forward of your wrists and then all the way back to the heels. Having a wiggle wherever you need to have a wiggle. And then coming up to centre, go the other way, starting small. And then making those circles bigger and bigger until you're coming all the way forward of your wrists and all the way back towards your heels. Wiggling out wherever you need to wiggle out. Everywhere is the answer today. Everything needs a wiggle. And then coming back to centre. We'll move with a bit of tension. This is the last one on our hands and knees, but we'll move with some tension in the body. So really engage the core and try and engage all the muscles around the torso, and maybe even squeeze your bum and squeeze your leg muscles. And then take your hips as you're squeezing all of those muscles down towards your heels. Squeeze all those muscles again. Come forward, rolling over the knees, keeping those tension in the muscles, and drop the hips into hanging cobra. Squeeze in again. Among the seagulls and the squirrels and the magpies. Squeezing all the way back. So squeeze all those muscles, have tension in the body, in the legs, maybe even in the arms, and move through that tension coming into hanging cobra. So at no point are we just dumping into the pose. Everything is taut. So going all the way back into child's pose, keeping everything engaged, and then slowly coming forwards into hanging cobra. Really squeezing everything in. We'll do one more. So go back to your child's pose. Squeeze the core, squeeze the legs, squeeze your bum, squeeze your arms and your shoulders. And then squeezing all those muscles again, the shoulders, the arms, the back, the core, your legs, your bum. Come forward into hanging cobra. Excellent. And then come back, tuck the toes and push up into our first downward dog. And we'll have a move and a wiggle and a jiggle here. So maybe pad one heel down to the floor, then the other heel down to the floor. Maybe bend the knees a lot and encourage the chest towards the thighs. So you have a nice long back. Maybe wiggle through the shoulders. Maybe stretch through towards your calf. Move wherever your body feels it wants to move this evening. And then once you have had your wiggle and your jiggle, come to your downward dog and have 3 deep breaths. Excellent. Now float the left leg up towards the ceiling. Bend at the knee. And do 3 circles through that hip, making those circles as big as you can possibly make them. Really reaching out to the side and reaching up to the ceiling. And then take those circles in the other direction for 3, making them just as big, getting into the full range of motion of that hip. And then once you've finished, stretch it up towards the ceiling and then bring it through, maybe giving it a little tug until the foot comes in between the hands. Drop the back knee and walk the hands up onto the front knee. Sinking into the hips, so the hips come forward and down, stretching down the right hip flexor. Taking the shoulders back if you want more of a stretch. And again, if you want to raise the back knee, feel free to raise the back knee. If you do raise the back knee, really concentrate on trying to stretch that leg out straight, encouraging the heel down towards the floor, which will increase the stretch. Couple of breaths here. Then dropping the knee back down if it's lifted, scooting the hips back, bringing the hands down either side of the front leg. You might need to wiggle that foot forward a little. Turn the toes up towards your nose and stretch the chest down towards the leg. Any pain in the back knee, you can always come onto the tiptoes of the back leg so the back knee is hovering. Entirely up to you, it's the same stretch. And again, if you don't have the mobility to get your hands to the floor, you can use blocks or books either side of the leg. So stretch the chest forwards. You should really feel this somewhere down the back of the leg. That's a yes? Yes. It's the quietest you two have ever been in class. Couple of breaths here. Really trying to keep that back long. You'll notice if you curve through the spine, the stretch decreases. If you stretch the chest towards the knee and keep the spine long, the stretch increases. Excellent. Now come on to the toes of that front foot. Keep the right hand on the floor and open up into a twist. So the left hand is coming up towards the ceiling, up towards the sky. And again, you can increase that stretch if you want to by raising the back knee. Entirely your option. You can either have it on the mat or raised. Couple of breaths here. Then float that hand back down to frame the front foot. Raise the back knee off of the mat and step back to downward facing dog. Have a little pad and get comfortable in your downward facing dog again. And then raise the right leg up behind you. Bend at the knee and do 3 circles, the biggest circles you're capable of in that hip. Really stretching up to the sky. Really stretching out to the side. And once you've done 3 circles in one direction, take the knee other way. Really stretching up, making those circles slow. So you're really getting into the edges of movement in that hip. And then stretch the leg up towards the sky. And then step it forwards, maybe giving it a little tug so it gets between the hands. Drop the back knee, walk the hands up onto the front knee and stretch into the left hip flexor this time. So keeping the shoulders open, the hips come forward and down. If you need more of a stretch, tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and then straighten that leg and stretch the heel away from you. Take a couple of deep breaths here. If you have the back knee raised, bring it back down to the floor. Take the hands down to frame the front foot. Wiggle that foot forwards. Raise the toes up towards your nose. And then lengthen the back and take the chest towards your knees. Or your knee. The front knee, preferably. So again, have a little play with the stretch. Notice if you curve through the back, it decreases the stretch down the leg. If you keep the back long and stretch the chest forwards, it increases the stretch. The less the toes are flexed, the less the stretch. The more the toes are pointing up towards your nose, bigger the stretch. And again, you can hover the back knee if that's more comfortable for you. It's your practice, so do what suits you best. Couple more breaths here. Excellent. Then ground down through that front foot, bringing the whole foot to the mat. Tuck the toes of the back foot, lift the knee, and step it forwards into a forward fold. Bend the knees a lot to start with. And then stretch the hands up towards the sky and interlace the fingers. Stretch the hands away from you, and then allow the hands to come down towards your head. It doesn't matter whether your arms are straight or bent, as long as you're feeling a stretch somewhere, hopefully in your shoulders. And just have a couple of deep breaths in this bind. Then take a nice big inhale, pulling the core in as tight as you can. Imagine someone's lifting you up from your hands as you come up into a standing position. When you can't keep your hands up any longer, let them come down the back and release the bind. Maybe have a couple of rolls through the shoulders and stand tall in Tadasana. So feet hip width apart all together, whatever feels more comfortable. Hands open to the front of your mat. Shoulders relaxed down the back and standing up nice and tall. Nice big inhale up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bend the knees a lot and come all the way down into a forward fold. Lift up the right leg and tuck it behind the left leg so that your foot's just tucked behind. I've just eaten a midgie. And then I've eaten worse. Walk your fingers around towards the left. Now this stretch will get us all in different places. So just have a couple of breaths in this stretch, reaching the fingers around towards the left. Trying to keep the hips facing towards the top of your mat and really grounding down through the feet. Great stretch for the outside of the legs. Walk the hands back to center, untuck the feet, then take the left foot around the back of the right foot. Really ground down through the feet and then walk the fingers around towards the right, trying to keep the hips facing forwards. And just notice how one side probably feels different to the other side. One more breath here. Then walking our hands back to the front of the mat, untucking our feet, taking the feet as wide as your yoga mat and the toes out towards the side slightly. Drop the hips down as far as you can. You might come into a squat where your thighs are parallel to the floor. You might be able to come all the way down into Malasana, whichever is in your practice. And just have a moment, trying to keep the spine long. Whether you're in Malasana or whether you're in squat, keep the spine long. Couple of deep breaths here. And keeping some tension in the muscles, bring the hands towards the mat and take the hips up towards the ceiling, letting the head come down. Then keeping that tension in the leg muscles in your bum. Take your hips as low as you can, back down to squat. So inhaling as you come up, squeezing the leg muscles, squeezing the bum, squeezing the hips, let the head hang heavy. And then exhale as you come down. Inhale as you go up, squeezing all those muscles. And then exhale as you come down, still squeezing all of those muscles. We'll do one more in each direction. Inhale as you come up, squeeze the legs, squeeze the bum, squeeze the hips, squeeze the tummy. And then exhale as you come down, still squeezing all those muscles. Excellent. Then come back up into your forward fold. Heel toe the feet back so that they're parallel and underneath your hips. Take a nice big inhale, pull the core muscles in and roll all the way up to standing again. 3 deep breaths here. Inhale the arms up. Exhale them down to the sides. Inhale up. Exhale to the sides. Inhale up. Exhale to the sides. Then a couple of flows. Inhaling up. Exhale, folding forward, bending at the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Long back, long neck. Exhale, fold, bending at the knees. Step back with the left leg, step back with the right leg into plank. Take the knees to the floor. Take the chest and the chin to the floor, keeping the elbows in. And then scoot forwards into cobra. Really stretching the back as long as you can whilst you're curving it upwards. Exhale down, tuck the toes. Take the hips back towards the heels. A moment in child's pose, then press up into your downward facing dog. Nice big inhale here. And as you exhale, really relax into your downward facing dog. Then stepping forward with the left leg, step forward with the right leg into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step back with the right leg. Step back with the left leg. Into your plank. Have a moment in plank this time. Press down through the fingers. Press the ground away so the shoulders are engaged. Pull the tummy muscles in. Tuck the tailbone under. Keep the neck long. Take the heels away from you so they're reaching towards the ground. Hold it. Keep breathing. Keep smiling. Yes! 2 smiles. And then take your knees down towards the floor. Take your chest and your chin to the floor with the elbows in and then roll forward into your cobra. Tucking the tailbone under so you have space in your lower back. Stretching the chest forwards, relaxing the shoulders down the back. Exhale down to the mat. Tuck the toes. Take the hips back towards your heels for a moment in child's pose. Then push up into downward facing dog. Take a really big inhale in your dog and come all the way up onto your tippy toes. And then as you exhale, take the chest towards your thighs and bend your knees. Then looking forward, step forward with the right leg, step forward with the left leg. Inhale, halfway lift, long back, long neck. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands back through center. Inhale, arms up and keep them there. This time, make the body really strong so the whole body is engaged. Then reach up with the right hand so the right hand is higher than the left. And then exhale it back down. Reach up with the left hand. Exhale it down. Inhale up right. Exhale down. Inhale up left. Exhale down. Keep the whole body engaged. All the muscles are taut. Inhale up right. Exhale down. Inhale up left. Exhale down. Excellent. Inhale, look up. Little stretch up towards the sky. Open the chest. Maybe a little back bend. Exhale, bending the knees, come down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step back with the left leg. Really ground down through the feet. Nice bend in the front leg. You can be on the toes of the back foot or drop the heel, whichever feels more comfortable. And then float the arms up into crescent lunge stroke warrior one. Get comfortable here. Really feel that your shoulders and your ribs are above your hips. See your toes in front of the front knee and stretch the back heel down towards the ground. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend into the knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Then take a nice big inhale here. Exhale, drop the back knee towards the floor, keeping the front knee bent. Exhale, straighten. I think I did 2 exhales. Inhale, down. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, down. Exhale, straighten. Good. Float the hands back to frame the front foot and then step the front foot back to plank. This time you can do knees, chest, chin, or keeping the elbows close to the body, come down through chaturanga. If you do chaturanga, come up into up dog. If you did knees, chest, chin, do cobra. Then either take the hips back towards the heels into a moment of child's pose and into down dog, or roll over the toes if you're in up dog and come into down dog. Really stretching that back out nice and long. Nice big inhale, reaching up onto the tiptoes, and then exhale, bend the knees and stretch the chest towards the thighs. Looking forwards, either step or jump to the top of the mat, landing lightly. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up to the top, looking up, little stretch of the chest up towards the sky. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, big bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Take the right leg back this time. Bring the left foot forward if you need to. Either stay on the toes of the back foot or drop the heel, whichever's more comfortable. Really ground down through the feet. Then inhale up to crescent lunge, stroke warrior one. Get really comfortable. Feel that your shoulders and your ribs are stacked above your hips. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, take a nice bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Then inhale, hover the back knee. Exhale, extend that leg out. Keep the front leg as still as possible. Inhale the back knee down. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, down. Exhale, lengthen. Good. Float the hands down to frame the front foot. And then step that back to plank. Take your choice of knees, chest, chin, or coming down to chaturanga, nice and slowly. Hold it at the bottom before you hit the ground. Woohoo! And then into upward facing dog. Stretch the chest forwards. Keep the legs engaged. Make the body really strong. Then take the hips up and come over into your downward facing dog. If you're in cobra, go through child's pose and up into down dog. Nice big inhale up onto the tiptoes. Exhale, stretch the chest towards the thighs, bend the knees. Looking forwards with your knees bent. Take a nice little jump or a hop or a step or a wiggle or a dance to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward, big bend in the knees. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good, I'm starting to get warm. Okay, twisty flow next. We've gone forwards and backwards, side to side. Twisty. Inhale up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This time, take the left foot back. Drop the heel down onto the ground through in warrior two legs. Then inhale up into warrior two, looking out over the front fingers. Get really, really comfortable in your warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Turn the palms towards the front of the mat. And then come into triangle. So your left fingers are stretching up towards the sky as much as your right fingers are stretching down towards the ground. But we're not resting on the ground. We're using our core to hold us in this position. Really stretching the fingers apart from one another. Really squeezing the inner thighs towards one another. Keeping the tummy pulled in. Good. Then windmill the top hand all the way down towards the mat. Take a bend in the front knee, twist on the back toes so that you come onto the toes, and then open up into a twist. Excellent. Looking up towards the right fingers this time, stretching up towards the sky. Or if that's too much in your neck, you can look to the ground, whichever feels more comfortable. Excellent. One more breath here. Then float that hand down to the mat. Step the front foot back to plank and go through your vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, cobra, child's pose, down dog, or come down through chaturanga into your upward facing dog, and then take those hips up and come over into your downward facing dog. Really lengthening out through that spine. Excellent. Take a nice big bend in knees. Look forwards, step or jump or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway left. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees a lot and inhale all the way to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Right leg this time. Take a step back with the right leg and drop the heel. So you come into warrior two legs on the other side. Windmill the arms up into warrior two. Looking out over the left fingertips. Stretching the hands away. Making those arms strong. If I came and pressed on them, they wouldn't move. Nice bend in the front leg. Nice big inhale here. And then turn your palms towards the side of the mat. Straighten out that front leg. And keeping the legs exactly as they are, pivot from the hips, coming into triangle. So the bottom hand reaches down as much as the top hand reaches up. You can either look down towards the front foot or up towards the top thumb, whichever feels best on your neck. Really pull the inner thighs towards one another, making sure the core is strong. You're stretching those fingertips apart. One more breath here. Then windmill the top arm down towards the mat. Take a bend in the front knee, ground down through that right hand, and then peel yourself open into a twist on the other side, coming onto the toes of the back foot to make it more comfortable on your knee. Excellent. Couple more breaths here. Then bring that left arm back down onto the mat. Ground down through the hands as you step back to plank. Last vinyasa of the day, so make it count. If you're coming down, knees, chest, chin and into cobra, then do so. If you're doing your chaturanga, come down for 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Oh, you so nearly did it. Then all the way down and up into your upward facing dog. Really engage through the legs, engage through the core. Make this pose really strong. Then either take the hips back towards the heels through child's pose into down dog, or roll over the toes and come up into your downward facing dog. This time, we will jump halfway up our mats and cross the legs so that we can sit the bum down and come down onto our bum. Perfect. Right, feet towards the bottom of the mat. Roll yourself all the way down onto the mat, taking the arms wide out from your shoulders. They can be palm up or palm down, whichever you feel more comfortable with. Today we'll move our feet close towards our bum, lift up our hips, scoot them over to the right, and then place them back down on the mat. hug the knees in towards your chest, and then roll the knees over towards the left, trying to keep your shoulders grounded on the mat. If you want more of a twist, you can turn your head towards the right, and you can also pull your knees towards the floor with your left hand if you want to add a bit more weight into the twist, or help on your back with your twist. Entirely up to you. Take 6 really deep breaths on this side.
I'm sorry, yes, I'm having dinner. No, I just spoke to sleep, so I'm looking at
And once you've done your 6 deep breaths, if you've turned your head, bring the head back to centre and take a nice big inhale. Pull the core muscles in really tightly, and then on an exhale, roll your hips back onto the mat. And then lastly, put your feet down. Straighten yourself up and prepare for the other side. So lift up the hips to start with, scoot them over to the left and drop them back down. Hug the knees in towards the chest, and then on an exhale, roll them over towards the right, grounding down through those shoulders. If you want to increase the stretch, you can bring your right hand to your knee just to provide a bit of weight on the legs. And you can also turn your head towards the left. Six deep breaths on this side. Then once you've done your 6 breaths, bring your head back to centre. Take a nice big inhale and remove the hand if you place the hand on your knees. On an exhale, pull the tummy muscles in and roll the hips back down to the mat, placing the feet down last. And then realigning yourself so you're nice and long on the mat. And then you can do whatever prone position you would like to do whilst you're laid on the mat. So if you'd like to do a happy baby, if your back feels like it needs a little bit of lengthening, then you can do a happy baby. If you feel you need another back bend, then you can lift your hips up into bridge, maybe even take a bind in bridge. You could even go all the way up into wheel pose if you wanted to do that, and that's in your practice. Or you might just want to lay in Savasana, or do a banana asana where you stretch out down the sides of the body. Whatever your body feels you need. Do 3 breaths on each side, or if it's a static pose, then take 6 deep breaths. Whichever pose you have chosen, once you've done your 6 breaths, gently come out of it and come into Savasana with your arms down by your sides and your legs stretched out long with the feet falling open, legs completely relaxed. Any pain in the lower back at all, you can bring your feet to the mat and let the knees roll in. Or you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out in butterfly pose. Just make yourself as comfortable as you possibly can. Roll the shoulders underneath the body and make sure the lower back is comfortable. And enjoy the feeling of your body relaxed on the mat. Noticing how each part of your body feels. Taking your awareness around each of those body parts, starting with the right thumb, right forefinger, ring finger, middle finger, little finger, back of the hand, palm of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, right armpit, right side of the waist, hip, thigh, glute, hamstring, kneecap, back of the knee, shin, calf, ankle, sole of the foot, top of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe. Then feel the left side of your body, starting with the left hand thumb, forefinger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, back of the hand, palm of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, left armpit, left side of the body, hip, thigh, glute, hamstring, kneecap, back of the knee, shin, calf, top of the foot, sole of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe. And feel the weight of the feet pressing into the mat. Feel the weight of the lower legs pressing into the mat. Feel the weight of the upper legs pressing into the mat. The weight of the pelvis pressing into the mat. The torso, lower back, middle back, upper back, belly, ribs, chest, pressing into the mat. Backs of the hands pressing into the mat. Forearms and elbows pressing into the mat. The upper arms and shoulders pressing into the mat. The back of the head pressing into the mat. The whole body heavy, relaxed, pressing into the mat. Feel the forehead relax, eyebrows spread apart from one another, eyes closed, eyelids relaxed, cheeks relaxed, tongue floating in the middle of your mouth, jaw and jawbone completely relaxed. Your whole body completely relaxed. And take your awareness to the breath. Take the inhale deep into your body. And on the exhale, feel your body becoming even more relaxed. Inhaling energy deep into the body. And then exhale any last stresses or tensions from the day. Inhale deep into the belly. And exhale out any last stresses or tensions from the day. Keep breathing in this way. And gently bring your awareness back to your body. Start to think about moving. Maybe a single finger to start with. Maybe you feel more energetic and to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe roll the head from one side to the other. Or circle through the wrists and the ankles. And then move your body in whatever way it wants to move. If you want to stretch, then stretch. If you want to hug the knees in and circle through the hips, then go for your life. Whatever your body feels it needs, do it. And then when you're ready, roll over onto your side and come up to seated. And we'll finish with 3 big, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, just to finish off. If you'd like to do lion's breath, then please feel free to do so. Just stretch your chest as far forward as you can and stick your tongue out as far as you can. Okay, all together, nice big inhale. Good work. Thank you for making the effort to join me this evening. Thank you to Louise for sharing her garden with us and making it into a hybrid class. And I hope to see you all on your mats again soon.